You can follow the conversation, guys. Follow the conversation live on our YouTube and all our social media platforms. But now we're back, and it's time to get to the next story.
The later pastor of the Synagogue Church of All Nations, T.B. Joshua, was a revered man and an influential spiritual leader who gathered followers from every part of the world. While many swear by him as God's gift to mankind, others have recounted unpleasant and disturbing occurrences and abuse and, of course, occultic interactions.
Well, some years ago, a former assistant who refers to herself as Evangelist Bisola Hefziva Johnson published an expose, the T.B. Joshua I Know, my memoir of the Synagogue, Church of All Nations, and then later, reasons you should not visit the Synagogue Church of All Nations. Now, Bisola has graciously granted us this exclusive interview to address the foundation for these resurfaced allegations in the BBC documentary. Thank you so much, Evangelist Bisola, for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Bisola, I'll start with this because we had agreed initially that you would join us live in the studio to have this conversation. But when we talked off camera, you had expressed the fact that you've been threatened, you've been assaulted before. And I think it's important for people to know why it seems that you have been in hiding, especially since the BBC documentary came out. What's the situation concerning your security as it stands right now?
I'm still afraid to go out because this has been a kind of repetition situation I've been, even before T.B. Joshua died. But after his demise, the threats went down. But right now, people have been sending me a lot of threat messages. And also, Pastor Jeremiah Omoto is, saying some insightful words against me. I'm not the only one in the documentary. I don't know why they are particular about me. He said, I'm the enemy of the church and people should rise up. And the IGP, I'm not afraid to go to the police. Years back, even before T.B. Joshua died, I spoke out. I expected the police to have come for me so that we can all, talk it together. But nobody say anything. I wonder why they are now calling, why they are now involving police in this matter.
All right, Evangelist Hefziva, I want to ask you. A lot of people would say that, at least in fairness to you, you have been speaking out long before this BBC documentary came out. Now, a lot of people would ask, or I would want to ask, you've been at this for a long time. Why did you stay that long? Because a lot of people would say that you witnessed a lot of atrocities. You saw a lot of it and took part in some of it. So why did it take you so long to leave?
Thank you very much. It took me so long. It's very deep, deeper than what many people can understand. And if you check, if you watch the documentary very well, many of the victims said, except you live in that place, you cannot understand the psychology of Synagogue Church of All Nations. It's a cult community. Going in there, he told me that God wants to use me. I never saw God. God didn't God didn't talk to me. But because I put him in certain pedestal, I weighed it. I said, well, I was a banker at the time. I said, okay, I agreed. If that will put peace in my mind. I never said I did not add problem. It was problem that took me, problem of life that took me there, as many people went there. But that does not warrant him to manipulate me. I was relatively young, 20-something years, manipulated me, hypnotized me,
Sorry, Bisola, when you say manipulated and hypnotized you, we really need you to clear the air. Is it that there was some sort of ritual performed, or, because hypnosis has some kind of, there's a certain way it's done, a process. Can you hit on that manipulation and hypnosis so that we know? Is it like a cult, a ritual, that was performed, or something that actually took your maybe senses away and you could not perceive right from wrong and it just became like a zombie situation?
So, Bisola, sorry, before you answer that, because I also want you to answer to those who say, where does the part of personal accountability also come into play when it comes to this situation?
Personal accountability over years. I started talking when I left there, 2008. And every time I go out to talk, I put myself in the same situation. I was part of it. Either I was used consciously or unconsciously. This is what I was made to do. You understand? Mm-hmm. So, but no one cared to. It's like nobody was interested. I keep talking, not because I was, I wanted to ruin synagogue, or I wanted to, started a fight. But I spoke out in order to warn people that what you see on TV is different from what is going on behind the scene.
Okay, Bisola.
This is what I did. This is what I did. Mm-hmm. This is what I was made to do.
All right. So, Bisola, we hear you. We hear you loud and clear. And we have so many questions, and questions are opening up as you're explaining yourself the more. Now, the first question that would come to me now as you're speaking is that after spending so many years at the Synagogue Church of All Nations, what is the one thing that probably you couldn't stand anymore, that you decided, okay, you know what, I'm stepping away from this? There must have been something to make you decide to walk away.
And also, in addition to that question, in the documentary, you did say that your passports were taken, phones were taken. So how were you able to leave?
Okay, you asked a question before other question came in. Why did I stay so long? Mm-hmm. I entered there not really as a Christian. And I was told God wants to use me. The way we perceived him, we thought, he heard directly from God. You understand? We entered there, we saw a lot of people, religion fanaticism. And they said the religion is opium of the people. And we got there, and I was given an assignment in different departments, possibly from the background I was coming from. And the first manipulation was that your parents are your problem. You need to separate from them. My mom came to the synagogue, and I told my mom, you're a witch. That was what I was asked to go and tell her. My mom cried away. And not only me, all the you can ask even the foreign ex-disciples. You are separated from your friends, you are separated from your family, you are separated, they were demonized to us. So after we have settled down, then other manipulations started. That we had meetings almost every day. God does not know that you people exist because of the sins of your forefathers. He is the one that wants to introduce us to God. Well, possibly, we all came there because of one issue or the other. Maybe we were suffering from the sin of our parents. So we stayed. Then sexual thing came in.
But I want to ask, when, Bisola, please, because this sexual abuse that is alleged, how did it occur? Was it like a rape situation? You just woke up and you found out that you have been with the man of God? Or was there an asking and an accepting?
Yeah.
Let me say this. I will be fair to the dead and to everyone. I wasn't a saint when I went to SCOAN.
Of course.
But I did not go there to sleep with a pastor. I only needed God, relationship with God. And I needed a guidance, someone that would mentor me. I thought I was going there for prayers and go back to my life. But instead, God asked for me to be there. I went back to Kano, where I lived. And while I was there, I couldn't concentrate in anything. Closing eyes, I found myself back in synagogue. Because he gave me some of his items, his calendar, this, I hung them all my house. I was hearing his voice in my ears audibly.
Telling you to come back.
I couldn't even, he gave me his phone number, but at that time there was no mobile phone in Nigeria.
Right.
And I went to Nitel, but we couldn't connect. I had to fly back because the company I work with was under Okada here. We were allowed free pass to fly. So I came back to Nigeria. They usually call me sister from Kano. I was taken through the back. I was young, beautiful, you understand? And he said he has already told me that God wants to use me.
Bisola.
And we're just trying to...
Sorry, Lolo. Bisola, I need to ask, because when I watched the 3 parts of that documentary, something came up. Nobody mentioned TB Joshua's wife. They didn't mention whether she had any knowledge, inkling, an idea of the situation. And it strikes people as very difficult, even though I've seen documentaries where even the wives of serial killers did not know they were serial killers. But I need to ask you specifically, Bisola, where was TB Joshua's wife in the midst of all of this? Do you think she was aware of any of the things that you and several others have alleged?
And she also said, I think she broke her silence some days ago, saying that you made advances towards the man of God, and that's why you're coming out now to say things that didn't happen.
Okay, I made advance. Let's take that as yes. I'm just, hypothetically. What about divergence? In Lagos High Court, there is a case against him. 3 girls of the same father, the same mother, and also with their mother. So just 3 girls, the virgins that he defiled, did they also make advances, on him? I'm asking. When he called me into the room, after he has given me assignment, I do not even, I can't remember I saw him more than 2 times because I was busy in the studio. You understand? When he first, came on me, I asked myself, did I give him reason to do that? I didn't cooperate at the beginning because I feared for him. If, as I said, I wasn't a saint, when I got in there. And when I was thinking, if this kind of thing happened, that means he will be empty of whatever he put himself into. Not knowing that, before TB Joshua goes into service, he will have intercourse with a woman. And when he returned, it happened to him in South Africa, in Cape Town. He was under red alert when he had intercourse with a lady called Susan in our father's house. They were about to go and do I always talk with facts and figures. What I was expected the management of SCOAN is to come out and say, we were not there when that happened. but we have human empathy.
So, but Bisola, you haven't answered. Bisola, I asked a very specific question. Do you think that TB Joshua's wife knew what was going on? I need an answer from you.
She knew. She knew. Because at a time, we were a little bit close. Let me tell you what brought us together. It happened that, at a time, she was not living with the disciples in the disciples' quarters. She was living in Ikeja, all right? A lawyer, Mr. Olowo Foyeku, who used to be member of SCOAN. So because of his attitude towards that woman, that was why the lawyer said, okay, come and live in my house. So it happened that as head of the studio, one day, Madam Evelyn entered into the studio just to while away time. Because anytime she visited at that time, she visited as a visitor. Yes. So, she just entered just to while away time. Only TB Joshua's bedroom and studio had air conditioner at that time. So she entered, I obliged her to sit. She was watching a program on TV. All of a sudden, TB Joshua just opened the door. And when I saw his face, I knew I was in trouble. Within 5 minutes, I was summoned. If I see that woman in that studio again, you'll be in trouble.
All right. Bisola, that's... I'm
going somewhere.
Very quickly, because of time.
And she had already left. So another time she came, I walked her out. And she said something to me. If you are in my shoes, will you be happy? That got on me.
Okay.
Wow. And I see.
Bisola, we have to discontinue for now. This is all we can take on this chat with you for now. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Bisola, for joining us. That was Bisola Hephzibah Johnson, a former member of the Synagogue Church of All Nations. We'll take a very short break. When we come back, we'll be wrapping up the show.
We do apologize for the ending of the conversation with Bisola. We have a lot more questions, and I know that you online and watching also have questions, and we hope to have her back. But unfortunately, time is not with us. We need to wrap things up on the show today. It's been a heavy one, and unfortunately, I can't even find my characteristic laughter to end this show because Nabiha is at the back of my mind. These allegations are at the back of my mind. All the ramifications for our society, be it security, be it the safety of the girl child. And even as we're talking about Nabiha, we also have to understand there are thousands and hundreds of thousands of young boys who have also been kidnapped and killed by bandits and terrorists as well. So while we may focus on the young women, we are not at any point in time ignoring the fact that young men and grown men are also being affected by the insecurity in Nigeria. I don't know if anybody else wants to. I don't have it in me right now.
No, I think it's been a heavy day. That kind of day where you don't necessarily have to see the tears, but you know that it's just that day, that kind of day that weighs heavily on you. It makes you question a lot of things, and when they say that, it's
we're going.
At the end of the day, I hope that we prioritize, especially the government prioritizes the life of the people that they actually govern.
Because it's crazy. We keep talking about national security. What are we doing?
That's